Hey, I'm Trey Bolin, storyteller, brand photographer, and entrepreneur. I love new beginnings, fresh starts, redirections, pivots, and during that pandemic, didn't we see a lot of that happening? Everybody has an origin story, and I can't wait to hear yours. I'm so excited to introduce to you guys Mike from Mitten Junk. I know it says Michael Marinick, which is your formal name, but does everybody call you Mike or Michael?
Like my mom and Austin call me Michael. Just family calls me Michael. Everyone else calls me Mike though, so I'm good with either or.
That's awesome. So, what is it that you guys do with Mitten Junk?
So we are specialists in full service residential and commercial junk removal. So when I say full service, you can think of it like a white glove service that starts where your residential trash collection ends. If you need to get rid of a single item, like an appliance or a
Mm.
piece of furniture, because you're getting a new one, we can come in and take care of that old item for you. Uh, all the way up to entire property and estate cleanouts. Those are really our specialties. Somebody's moving, somebody's been in the property for 40 or 50 years, has a whole bunch of accumulation. We can help you manage through those items and purge whatever that you don't need to go on to the next place that you're going to. So
Yes.
that's kind of our bread and butter. We also do a little bit of like outdoor demolition and some dumpster rentals, but that's really more the side stuff that we do.
That's awesome. I know you guys helped me get rid of that jacuzzi tub that
Oh
we
yeah.
had got, and we were like, we're gonna fix it up, and then it just sat in our backyard. Like we moved it from someone else's backyard to our backyard, and then it sat. And
Hmm.
as soon as I heard what you guys did and do, I was like, please, because are we going to fix it? No.
Yep. A lot of the stuff that we acquire starts with a story like that. 100%.
Right. Well, and I think the thing that I loved when you guys came is you have a dog that you bring with you, which I think is awesome. How did that get started? A junk dog.
Yeah, I mean, when Austin and I started, and I will say that the dogs aren't in the trucks with us as often anymore now that we're growing and we
Okay.
have teams out in the field and
Sure.
whatnot. But yeah, when we got started, a lot of the reason that we started this business was to take control of our life and our time and be able to
Mm,
spend time around the people and the things in our lives that we enjoy more. And we both are dog lovers. We always have been, so it was really cool when we got started. It was just the two of us in the truck, so we could bring our dogs with us wherever we went, which is great because every time
yeah.
you come back to the truck, they're excited to see you, and they were a great element too for us interacting with customers. Most of our customers love dogs, and particularly if it was a difficult situation or somebody was having some challenges letting go of some of the things that they needed to get rid of. Having a
Yeah.
dog there to pet and kind of cuddle with while they're watching their stuff kind of getting taken out of their home is was a nice addition to how we got going for sure.
And I love that about you guys, that you are junk guys with heart, that you're not just here to pick it up and take it away. Yes, that is what you do, but that you have heart and soul, that you're connecting and building relationships with your clients. And I think that's because you guys have an awesome relationship with each other. Because aren't
Hmm.
you and Austin related?
Yep, absolutely. So Austin and I are cousins through marriage. So Austin married my first cousin several years ago. I actually officiated the wedding, which was really cool to be a part of that
Oh,
as well. Yeah, and we both, we just wound up in a very similar position a little over 4 years ago now, where we were both looking for a change and looking to take control of our lives and looking to do it in a way where we could help people and make a difference in our community. We love the area that we live in. We love being in
mm,
Michigan, and we love being able to find new ways and creative ways to help our business support the community. So it gave us a really cool avenue to do all of those things.
yeah, and I think having that family at the heart of business, my parents were entrepreneurs and they did different things. They weren't partnering together, but that family foundation in business, I think really helps you to be more relational. I don't know if you found that or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think that our story is something that even if somebody doesn't want to become an entrepreneur themselves, it's something that a lot of
Yeah.
people can relate to, like both of
Hmm.
us got got into jobs that, I mean, we both found satisfying at one point in our lives, but you get to a certain point where you reevaluate priorities and
Mm,
and you reevaluate how you spend your time, and both of us just decided, we are kind of tired of working for other people and making money for
yeah.
other people, and sometimes, when you're in those environments, you can get abused or taken advantage of. And we
Yeah.
both seen that through our careers and whatnot. And we just wanted to be able to put ourselves in a position where we could take control and make sure we were getting value out of our time and spending it in a way that we'd feel good about what we were doing and how we were spending our time. So I think
Yeah.
that's something that a lot of people can relate to. If you don't take that jump, if certainly that's a situation that folks wind up in, and maybe that's the reason they look for a new job or look for a better
Hmm.
culture or any number of things.
Yeah, and that's what I love about your origin story is you both were in spots in your job where you're like, okay, I could keep going, but do I want to? Is this
Hmm.
serving me and my family? And that's a part of that origin. So, what was that conversation like? Set the setting for us. I know that it was like during the pandemic, so you
Yeah.
guys were kind of like sick of where you were, corporate America, you know?
Yeah, we were, so at the time I was already kind of on the beginning of a transition journey. I came out of
Mm,
retail and had worked for, big companies like Walmart and Kroger and Ulta Beauty and whatnot. And I just gotten to a
mm,
point where I was tired of traveling and working 70, 80 hours and not spending
mhm.
time with my family or getting to enjoy things like the house I was paying a mortgage on, right? Um, and,
Yeah.
and Austin was in a very similar position. He came out of the trades. He worked in heating and cooling. He worked on
Mm.
fuel pumps, like he did sales for a little while. But just kind of a rough and tumble industry where you get taken advantage of a little bit. And we were, as the pandemic kicked off, we were sitting around bonfires at Austin's house, just kind of complaining about our jobs, and we were both kind of like we were jamming about like what kind of things could you do. Like I was looking at like a hot shot trucking driving and stuff, and Austin
Yeah.
was looking at different things too. And we were like, well, heck, like we're both smart guys and we're both driven guys, and we have a very aligned value set with
Yeah.
complementary skill sets. Like why not try to do something together that's going to benefit both of us? And putting two heads together in my mind has always been better than one, especially when you get along as good as Austin and I did. So it kind of started there. We said, listen, we want to find ourselves into a space where we know we'll be able to help people.
Yeah.
And junk removal is just kind of what we fell into. It's not that we have a
Yeah.
particular passion for junk removal per se. And I could certainly see us, wanting to get into other businesses as we continue to grow. But no matter what it is, being helping people and being ingrained in the community has got to be, central to whatever it is that we do. So that's
Yeah.
really how we got started and what led us down this path. And once we figured out that people were willing to pay us to do work, then it kind of took all the barriers away, and we're just accelerator to the floor.
Right? I think that's the thing that I love the most about your origins is that you started out complaining about things that you didn't like. And then you were like, well, what could we do to find a solution? And then you were like, wait a minute, your strengths are my weaknesses and vice versa. We could do this together. I think that
Yep.
outside of the box thinking, that way of finding strategy and taking that moment of like, ugh, this does not feel good. This is not good. How can I make it better?
Yeah, 100%. And like I know a lot of folks out there, might look down on or think negatively about a partnership because I know that it can present some
Mm,
struggles in business. But I'll tell you, like a benefit that it's presented to us because we do get along and we have a shared vision is, like it's tough to grow a business when you're always in it and you don't get to work on it. And what's great
yes.
about Austin's and my roles right now is Austin, he's running everything in the field. He's managing the teams. He's getting the jobs done. So he's able to stay
Mm,
in the business and be making the money for the most part, while I'm able to come out and meet people and grow and build
mhm.
relationships and stay focused on building the business. So while it can be a challenge, I know for some folks, I feel like it's a strategic advantage for us.
Right. And like you said, to your point of not every partnership works out. And usually you hear horror stories where by year four, they're like, and we got to go. What do you think is the reason why you guys have been so successful? Can you give us some secrets to success? I know we already see that opposites, and you're doing different things. Do you think that
Mhm.
is one of the key ingredients?
Like separating our roles because our first year we were both tied into everything, so we were stepping on
Yeah.
each other's toes a little bit. Separating roles has certainly ironed all of that out and let us both know
Mm,
where we can own what part of the business. It drives accountability. But I think in terms of getting along, what's important is that you understand the purpose of what you're trying to build and that you're aligned behind that and you don't forget what the main thing is. And for us,
mm,
like the main thing has always been, taking control of our lives and not having to work for other people, and then being able to serve. And as long as we continue to make that our focus, and we don't let the business get away from us, and we're both handling everything that we're supposed to handle, I don't think that it's a thing that's going to be a challenge. And it doesn't hurt either that we're both pretty laid back guys, like we roll with the punches, like we make mistakes, we have losses sometimes, but we try to look at them as learning opportunities and ways for us to grow. Like this year is a great example. Like, this has been a challenging year for anybody in a service business. The economy's kind of funky,
Yeah.
inflation's in a lot of control. People are nervous about stuff going on in the world right now. So, yeah, I mean, you could look at that and get beat down about it, or you could look at it as an opportunity. And we look at it as a way to focus on efficiencies, focus on processes, and focus on relationship building. And that's all going to be good stuff for us as we continue to move forward. And when things turn around with the housing market, we feel like we're going to be able to springboard off of those efforts, just because we look at it in a positive abundance mindset.
I think that's exactly right. Mindset really is a lot of the battle. I know that I was recently talking to my sister, and she's expecting, and I was saying it's a mindset thing. Giving birth is a mindset thing, just like owning a business, having that right mindset for whatever comes at you. Do you guys, maybe I don't know, you can speak for Austin, but do you have like a morning routine? I know some people have like morning meditations, or maybe they're reading scripture, or they have a book that they're studying, or something to encourage them in the mornings. Do you guys do like a miracle morning or something like that to help you get going?
I mean, Austin and I, we touch base in the morning. I don't know
Yeah.
what he has going on particularly. He's got a couple of kiddos at home, so that occupies a lot of his mornings and evenings. For me, like, I like to get up a little bit early in the morning. I like to have a cup of coffee on the deck, and play with my dogs. That's what gets my
Yeah.
mind right for the day, is just be able to relax, breathe in a little bit of fresh
Mm.
air, throw the ball for my dogs, and make sure that I'm focused on what's important to me, which is spending all that positive time and being at home, and knowing that this is right where I'm going to be at the end of the day too.
Yeah.
That keeps me focused on where I want my mindset to be.
Yeah, I love that, being able to start that morning with your family, and then knowing that that's going to be what you're coming back to, and that's what's driving you and what's pushing you forward. So just to ask a little bit about where you serve and who you serve, what
Mhm.
areas are you guys in right now? I know you're in Pinckney.
Yeah, so I live in Howell, and Austin lives in Brighton, and we run our business out of a storage unit in Brighton. So
Okay.
our goal is to keep most of our business within about a 25-mile radius of Brighton. So, Livingston, Washtenaw, Oakland counties, a little bit of Genesee County. We'll go out further for bigger jobs too. Like, I'm not going to send my
Okay.
guys out to Royal Oak to pick up a couch, but we'll go out there to clean out
Right.
a house 100%. So
Sure.
so it really, every situation is a little bit different, and I just like to talk with people about their situation. And if it's something where it's a little bit further out, either way, if they really need help, we can come up with a price to make it work for both of us.
That's awesome. And I think really being able to serve that community that you're in Livingston County, really keeping your heartbeat there is really amazing. Did you guys both grow up in that area?
I grew up in the area, so like we're both Northern Michigan boys. I was actually born up in
Oh,
Gaylord, and Austin came from the Houghton Lake area. But my family, we moved down here when I was like 10. So I went to school in Pinckney schools, graduated from Pinckney schools. I got my business degree at Eastern Michigan. So,
okay.
I've
Yeah.
been around this area for a long, long time. And Austin and his wife moved into the area about 7, 8 years ago now, and they had their kids here, and they're raising their family
Mhm.
here as well. So we're both very ingrained in the community, and
Yeah.
connected with what's going on around here.
There's something about local community and being a part of it. What are some ways that you're giving back? Because I know that you guys have the heart to serve and help those around you. How does Mitten Junk give back to the community?
So what's really cool about what we do is, a lot of times we come across things that they're still in okay shape or have value.
Mm.
So a lot of what we do is, if we come across things that we know that our partners and nonprofits that we work with are looking for, we're able to divert that stuff away from a landfill and whatnot, and put it into the hands of people that can use it. So we have strategic partnerships with folks like Justin Billard up at Tools for Veterans. He's got a great organization where they take tools, and whether they're broken or working on donation, and they fix them up, and then they resell them there, so they can find a new life. And then every quarter he supports a local veteran cause, so that's money coming back into the community to support local veterans. We work with other
That's amazing.
organizations like there's Charity Bicycles in Brighton that we go and do bicycle donations for, and I think last year they gave away like 120 bikes to families in need and stuff like that.
Wow.
Like Habitat for Humanity and Goodwill are regular donation partners of ours. We're over there all the time. Every once in a while, we're able to get up to Fenton and support Clara's Hope as well. You know, they support local foster families for things that they need.
Mhm.
Not too long ago, like we came across a couple of like brand new twin beds that this lady had in her basement for, you know, when her
Wow.
grandkids would come over, and they used them maybe twice, and then she was moving, so she needed to get rid of them. So we were able to get those twin beds and box springs up to Clara's Hope for those families to use. So, you know, and that's the cool thing about what we do is we're always, you know, with me being out networking and meeting people, we're always looking for
Mhm.
new connections and ways that we can try to keep things out of the landfill that'll benefit good folks that are trying to promote a good mission in the community. And it seems like, you know, at least once a month, I'm finding somebody else that we can do something good with, which is awesome.
I think that's incredible. Instead of looking at the junk as junk, you're thinking about another way to give it new life, to give it new purpose, to connect with a nonprofit, like you're saying. And I just think that's really incredible because you don't have to do that. And that just shows the heart of Mitten Junk and what you guys are all about in changing the community that you're a part of. Not just to be a part of it, but to be a part of change and growth. I know you guys have experienced a lot of growth in this in the past 4 years. What do you think has been the driving factor for growth for you guys?
Um, Without question, it's been relationship building and meeting people face to face and letting them get to know our story and why we're here and how we can help. You know, like
Yeah.
we're not the only junk removal people around here. You know, there's the big corporate folks and there's other local guys that you can reach out to. But you know, for us, like, you know, 70-ish% of our business right now is word of mouth referrals and customers that know us that refer us, or business partners that we've met out in the world that refer us, and that's a huge chunk of business. And I mean, we could spend our time just throwing money at digital space and, you know, just trying
Yeah.
to, whoever searches us on Google, and we certainly do spend a fair amount of money looking for customers in that regard as well. But to me, you know, getting involved with the community and just getting to know people has been a huge competitive edge for us, and something that we're going to continue to lean into going forward. You know, it's Michigan is a very locally focused state. I think more so than a lot of the other states that are out there after I did all the traveling that I did in my previous career. So that's one thing that
Yeah.
we're leaning into, and that we like to lean into.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. That Michigan loves local business. We have thrived on that for years, and I think we're seeing a resurgence of it. I think that the pandemic helped people to say, just like you and Austin did, "Is this what I really want to do with my life? Maybe there's a side hustle. Maybe there's another thing that I should be doing." And side hustles and entrepreneurship are exploding. And with that, I'd love to ask you, what would be your best piece of advice that you would give to someone that was like you and Austin, sitting around the fire on the weekends going, God, I hate my job. What would be your best piece of advice for them as they're seeking entrepreneurship?
You know, I would just say plan appropriately, because, you know, jumping
Mm,
into entrepreneurship isn't for the faint of heart. Especially the first couple of years in the business, you don't really make a lot of money. So,
yeah.
you know, like two things that are very important, I think, is like if you're going to start a business, you need to begin with the end in mind. So like
Mm,
go and read the E-Myth. That would be a great place to start, because they talk to you about how to start with the end in mind. Like, what do you want to accomplish in your business? Is it just something you want for a couple of years and you can sell it? Is it
mhm.
something that you want to do for the rest of your life so that you can hand it down generationally within your family to support you? But you have to know what that is, and you have to keep that as a primary focus at all times when you're working and growing in your business. It's super important. And the other thing is just putting together a good plan of how you're going to be able to do what you want to do. You know, like
Mm,
my wife and I, like I sold all, like I had motorcycles and sports cars and all kinds of toys and
mhm.
stuff. Like we sold all of our toys. You know, like we got ourselves into a position where the only real bill that we have is our mortgage, and we had a chunk of
Mhm.
money in the bank to cover bills in case we couldn't get paid by the business for a while. That way, we'd be able to weather a storm or two along the way. So
Yeah.
that was really important as well, because if you're really nervous or focused on money when you don't have cash flow in a business, nothing
Mhm.
is going to push you back into the rat race, or the zombie operating system, as Kevin Sabowski likes to call it, quicker than not having the cash flow to support what
Yeah.
your daily needs are. So those two things I would say are super important, and if you can do those two things effectively, then The rest of it will fall into place if you're doing the right thing for the right
Yeah.
people.
I think you're exactly right. Keeping the main thing, like you started off with saying that. And then, as we're closing up this interview, like that is the focus. If you are not sure that this is what you should be doing, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it. And then counting the cost. I think a lot of people have a dream and they don't really know how to get beyond that. And I think that's great advice to really count the cost.
100%.
We
You
can
have to be willing to take a few steps back to make progress sometimes in life. And if you're not willing to take a few steps back, then you're probably not ready.
So true. Thanks so much for this conversation, Mike. How can people get connected with you?
We're out there and available to you however you want to reach out to us. So you can reach out to us via telephone or text at 734-648-5865. That's 734 Mitten Junk. You can check us out online. We've got a Google page and a website out there where you can submit an online inquiry or book us online. Or we're all over Facebook right now too. We're pretty active on Facebook, so you can reach out to us there via Facebook Messenger. But however you want to communicate with us, we'll be happy to meet you there.
Thanks so much, Mike. I know that I learned a lot about your business and your passion for encouraging and helping other entrepreneurs, and I just really appreciate your insight today.
Thanks for your time, Trey. Always a pleasure.